What's your name and what do you teach?
Hi, I'm Helen and I teach English and a bit of beginner's Latin as well.
Ooh, Latin, that's exciting. I could never get good at Latin. Where did you study?
So I studied at Oxford University, where I did my first degree. And then I went straight on after that and did my PGCE at Cambridge, at Homerton at Cambridge. And then later on, because I live in Bristol, I'm based in Bristol, I went on and got my master's in medieval studies at Bristol University.
Medieval studies, that sounds really cool.
Oh, yeah, it absolutely wonderful. I mean, my focus in particular was on medieval literature.
Wow. Okay, so like Chaucer?
Yeah, and other, I'm really interested in the interestingly in female writing from the medieval period. So the nuns and the religious women who lived in religious communities, but also, of course, a lot. Although we know the name Chaucer, a lot of the poetry at the time we haven't got the names of the people who wrote it. So Mr. or Mrs. Anonymous crops up a lot as well. And I wasn't expecting this, but I ended up focusing on a particular poem by an unidentified poet. And that was just fascinating. I loved it.
Okay, what was your favorite childhood book or story?
Okay, I think probably a favorite and a really important one were the Narnia books, the C.S. Lewis books, which I just remembered. First of all, I just remembered loving the magic of them all. And then I remember, and I think as somebody studying literature, this was quite important probably. I remember being told that they were kind of an analogy for what happened in the Bible. And I found that really interesting, the idea that a story could be one thing, but also have an extra layer of meaning as well. So I love that. There's another author I love, and few people have heard of her, but I've made sure I read her to my children because I loved her. And she's called Lucy Boston, and she wrote this series of children's books called The Children of Green Know, which again were just so magical. And all those children's books are great for just being transported to a magical place.
Yeah, absolutely. I loved the Narnia series when I was a kid. I read them all.
Yeah.
I read The Magician's Nephew. I was a bit obsessed.
Yeah. Oh.
Why do you love English and a little bit of Latin?
I mean, I love English. It's just, I mean, in some ways, it's like saying, why do you like eating cream cakes or something? The literature side of it all. I feel so lucky that that's something I've had the chance to study and to teach as well. And so I love the literature. I love all the time, I feel I'm discovering amazing things about language and the power of language and so on. And I feel recently I've started doing a bit of writing myself as well, which is a real, and I've been going to writing classes, which has been great for me as a teacher because I've been kind of on the other side of things. And that idea of what a skill it is to actually write really well is just something that fascinates me endlessly. And actually, it's for that reason that I've really enjoyed in more recent years teaching beginners Latin, because I think, again, it's all about the importance of language and understanding how it works. And I think that's so important for everybody.
Who inspires you the most?
Yeah, I think there isn't a particular person, but all the years I've taught in schools, I was for over 20 years at this wonderful school, a state school just outside Bristol. And so many of my colleagues were just incredible. And they would inspire me in different ways. Some of them I would see the way they were with children, sometimes with quite difficult children. And the love and the patience and the way they inspired children, I found really inspiring as well. And I think that's what's kept me going and teaching so long, is seeing other amazing teaching practitioners around me. Sometimes I've made the mistake of thinking, oh, I wish I was them. I wish I was like them. And actually, as a teacher, I realized you can't do that. You've got to be yourself. But I'm inspired by them in the sense that they make me realize just what can be achieved and what amazing things you can do. So teachers inspire me.
Yeah, teachers inspire me too, actually. When I was at school, they were like, they were the rock solid ones, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
they were the ones you turned to. Absolutely. In 3 words, describe your teaching style.
Okay, right. So friendly, I think, friendly and gentle, but challenging or incisive as well. So I like to think that I have got, I hope I'm not in any way an intimidating presence at all, but I think that one thing that I can do is gently prod people in the direction that they need to go. So friendly, gentle, but challenging.
I like the but. I like that you had 2 kind of, and then you had a because most teachers, like, they tend to say this, and this. I liked the fact you liked to kind of weigh them up against each other.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Why is English important, do you think?
I suppose a bit like I said earlier, it's this idea of language as being the most important tool that all of us have in every part of life. And if we can learn to use that effectively and truthfully and honestly, then I think that's so important. But also on the other side of things, from the point of view of studying literature, if we can appreciate the beauty of this thing that we all have, this language, then that's got to be really crucial as well. So I think it's at the core of everything.
And finally, can you give me your top tip for English or Latin? It could be either.
Yeah, well, I would say certainly for English, read everything really regularly, and find what you love to read, and then it's never a chore to read at all. And I sometimes almost think, I mean, I'd be putting myself out of a job if I really pushed this idea too much, but I almost think if you gave a child enough books and a wide variety of books, they could get on and teach themselves. But the problem is that so many children find it very hard. Either the reading is hard, or they actually find it hard to motivate themselves to do that. But I would say the most important thing that every child can do for themselves is to read regularly and widely.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Helen. That was really insightful. Thank you.
All right, thank you.